Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, we had some. Hey, there's Sean. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Had a great weekend fishing. Got it done. Super hot. Ocean was like, a sheet of glass. You can't say much more. So right now, what you're seeing, right, we'll go over it real quick, but we will get into the weather. You're seeing a lack of thunderstorm activity throughout the afternoons, right? You know why? Saharan dust eating up all that moisture for the next 7 days. All right, let's get into and talk some fishing, right? All right, we're going to start out here with Anna and a solid mutton snapper. Yeah, check that out, man. They got him. Pedro said she got 3 on the board that day. He did post a whole, a whole picture of their catch somewhere. It's somewhere. Anyway, yes, great catch for Anna. As usual, Pedro getting on him. Man, he knows how to go find a mutton snapper. I've been on the boat with him. They're part of like the boat club. It's just a GPS showing contour lines. There's no, I don't think there's any sonar. There might be. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not a pro on what, what those boats got on, but dang, man, Pedro's always on a fish. All right. So let's start looking at our weekly catches. So we start inshore, right? Here we go. I know, we'll talk. Marlo, Kenny Aleva, always on a redfish. This is a 35-inch redfish from a paddleboard. Yep. I asked her if it took her for a little sleigh ride, and she said yes. So, I mean, you obviously, if that's your cup of tea, man, you jump on a paddleboard or a kayak and you hook a good fish, you are definitely going for a ride for a little bit. All right. Good fun, right? All right, okay, so let's look. Here we go, Dave, right? Got some snappers. You got a mutton snapper. So remember, folks, we're seeing mangrove snappers. Right now through the end of August is the mangrove snapper spawn. Get out there when there's some current. If you can avoid the triggerfish and the Bermuda chubs and get it down to the bottom, the Grovers should be stacked up fairly good. You find some spots and stuff, and you just attack them. You don't need to chum. Don't chum. You will draw every triggerfish to your boat, and you won't be able to get past them. Okay, you just got to find a spot where there's current. You need current, and you drop it down. You don't got to anchor. You can drift over a spot a million times. All right, very good. Thanks, Dave, for the submission. Here's Pedro's whole catch, right? So that was one of the 3 that we saw. He's got a grouper and a porgy. That's a solid porgy right there, man. I think it's as big as the mutton snappers. Yes. Oh, man, if you're in like 50 feet of water, the triggerfish, you can see them stacked up on the bottom. So, that's just one thing about fishing the mangrove snapper spawn is you got to deal with the chubs and the triggers. They're, and then once you get the file fish mixed in there and stuff, it can be a long blow. Yep. Yes, it is like the Almaco jacks. Yeah, man. I mean, we found a pallet out there Sunday, and we couldn't get the dolphin. Good grief, they are faster than the Almaco jacks. But interestingly enough, I've started seeing sharks hanging out underneath seaweed, and there was one on that pallet too. So it's darn sharks. All right, back to fishing. All right, Pedro slamming it, right? All right, cool. Let's go. Here's Sean. He's hanging out with us. We'll show his picture. Caught over 10 keepers Wednesday, only kept 6. Yep, 1,500 feet way out there on the sword grounds. Yeah, that's where we landed on that pallet when I went out Sunday. Found it on the sword grounds. We were out there. We're 1,600. The first dolphin that we hit Sunday, and kind of a fluke. We were finding them in 800. We had been finding them in 800. Then that bite turned off. So I said, you know what? Let's run out, see if there's anything at the sword grounds. There's, sometimes it's out there, hit or miss. I mean, it's quite a ways out, but we ran out there. And as soon as we got out there, we saw this pallet, and yeah, the results were good. Oh man, nice catch. Thanks, Sean, for, always being here and, submitting. And, you know, man, I'm glad everything is working out with you with Riva World and all your, you know, the stuff that's going good for you on your end when it comes to, you know, your social media presence. Thank you again for all you do for the fishing community here. Seriously, thank you. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Tony ended before we got started due to electrical smoke. Well, that's smart, you know, man. Hey, I'm glad he got back in, you know, definitely made it in safely, fixed the issue. That was all. Hey, man, nice flounder, and he got some dinner, you know. Not bad, not bad. So, hey, you know, and speaking of fires, you know, I talked to Captain Alex. You just love fishing. Exactly. That's what it is. It's love. Yeah. I talked with Captain Alex, the guy. He's had his boat caught on fire down in Marathon, and it's crazy. I talked to him. I asked him, I'm gonna try and get him on live or do like a pre-recorded thing, and you know, hear all about it and what exactly happened. But yeah. I was going to try to do it today, but it just didn't work out. All right, let's see. Lawrence, Palm Beach, sharks. Yes, like I said, sharks. They're hanging out under the weed patches now with the dolphin. I'm looking 20 feet down. There's a dolphin. There's a shark. He's only like 4 foot, 5 foot, and he had dolphins swimming around with him. Geniuses. All right, so let's go back up to the top of the page since everything here seems to be like pelagics from there on out, right? So again, folks, snapper bite is there. The mutton snapper bite is here. It's happening, right? Also, the mangroves. There we go. Okay, Todd, 34-pound dolphin, 1,200 feet. Massive weed line out there last Friday. They got a big old nice cow. Good dolphin right there. So, yeah, hope they didn't use the LP to reel it in. Yeah, Todd. So very good. Todd is I believe he runs a charter. I'm not sure. He never says nothing about it, but he shows some great catches. And this is an awesome one. It's a good sized dolphin for being in our waters. All right, Jim, the best of Boynton. Here we go. Captain Jim Chirenza, 4J's Charters. Okay, if you're looking for a charter captain, the best out of Boynton Inlet, right? If you're in that area and you're looking for a captain, then hit him up. 4J's Charters. You know, he's been putting out lots of things, telling prices and all that stuff. Hit him up and do it. You know, great guy, great family, fun, and definitely can put you on the fish. You know, look at the pictures right here. There we go. Enough said. Great all-around guy, too. All right. So, Cole, here we go. 700 feet out of Boynton. Like I said, the dolphins seem to be in 7-ish to 800-ish, and one day they were like 8 to 900. They're this size, right? Out a little deeper, they were a little bit meatier. Boynton 700 had bucktail jigs, and of course they didn't work. Why would they? Switched out cut threadfin chunks on a hook. There you go. Landed one and then jumped in and shot the other one. All right, cool. Very good. Lost the school after they jumped in and shot it. You know, hey, schools don't hang around very long. All right, very good. There we go. We saw that. Ray, he's always in the dolphin. And yep, 900 to 950 to 11 feet, like Sean joked when he says Ray's always in 900. Yep, great catch. Always showing it. Big old smile. And, you know, here we go. Trolling squid squirts with bonita strips. Okay, cool. Very good. Pitch and jigs. That's what you do when you find them, man. You know, keep trolling them up if it's working. If they're taking, you know, if you're idle and you can pitch something out and get to them, yo, let's go. All right, Ray. We saw Sean's. Oh, damn. Here's another one from Sean. Sunday, Key Largo caught over 20 keepers. That's a nice one right here. Only kept 8. Oh man, way out of there. 22.50 out of Key Largo. Man, you got to go. That's a trip and a half to get that deep in Key Largo. I fish Key Largo a lot. That is a run right there. Lost a red grouper at 300 feet to a bull shark, of course. Spotted over 100 plus mahi in different schools. Most caught on bucktail jig. Imagine that. Rest on live bait on my Sea-Doo Fish Pro. There he is. Yep. Doing that PWC thing, man, like he does. He is our local pro. All right, and yeah, another one for him. All right, there we go. Derek, nice wahoo, no information, just a nice wahoo. It looks, you know, the ocean was flat. Cool, great catch. Yasmini. Good Lord. Nice mixture. Those all look like false albacore, barracuda, a couple dolphins, a ton of yellowtail. Man, that's like a whole trip and a half right there, man. Oh, good Lord. A little bit of everything, though. Having fun, living a dream. Yandri. Yes. Oh, man. We got a yellow edge grouper. We got a couple top blue lines, mutton snapper. I was 45 miles offshore. Oh, Lord. Yeah, like I said, that was a run and a half. 45, and your Garmin stopped. Oh, boy. Wait, you went out 45 miles on your Sea-Doo? You're an animal. Wow. I don't know. I'm speechless. That's crazy. I haven't stopped. Yeah, I've been having... No, never a problem, man. I admire your adventure side, man. That's awesome. I totally admire it, man. I think more people should be like you. That's a trip and a half out there, boy, man. All right, yeah. Yandri's got a little bit of everything in here, man. And you know, he posted a picture where he caught 2 snowies at one time. Yeah, that's a bummer about that. They shut that season down. Hey, how we doing? All right, let's see. Ulysses got himself some nice CUDA snacks to take home. Very good. We went out and caught a CUDA. Yep. I lost one of my lures, one of my good lures from Evolution Lures, the Ruckus. I lost that to a darn CUDA on a weed catch too. It was quick, done. James, not the poor. He went out fishing with his sister. He didn't tell you this, but I just saw his post. Got a Margate. Oh, I can't tell if it's a porgy or not. It looks like a porgy and a nice mud snapper. So, hey, he's going home having dinner with his sister. Awesome. All right, and that's what we got for fishing, folks. Right, so real quick, there he is. A boat found me 45 miles offshore and asked me if I needed help, and I told them they had ice after that. I put them on some dolphin. I got 2 bags of ice from a random 40-foot container. Oh man, that is awesome. Yeah, I've been way the heck out there on my boat and had people drive up to me while I'm like doing my thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good, thanks, boss. Yes, but hey, at least someone showed you some concern, and you know, hey. Eye for an eye, man. You scratched their back, they scratched your back, you scratched theirs. Good deal. That's the way to help out too, man. All right. Yeah, right. So dolphin are still swimming around. Mutton snapper are here. The mangrove spawn. And like I said, Saharan dust. So we have clear skies, hot as hell. And what else when it comes to fishing? You know, soon the sargassum is going to start cutting us some slack, so you'll be able to get back on the reef and, you know, do the kingfish wahoo thing. All righty. Start talking about weather, right? It's just hot. The wind isn't going to pick up a little really until the end of the week. Probably make the weekend boating a little, you know, iffy, unless you're into a bit sporty weather, but maybe not too bad. You know, these weather forecasts have been awful a little bit lately. So let's start talking about it, right, folks? The next 4 websites we're going to go over are in the description of this live feed show. If you like what you see, just go in there, click and copy and paste and have at it. And remember, this is just a forecast model. This is not, hey, set in stone. This is how it's going to happen. I know you'll be out there, Captain Dan. Yes. So let's get into this, right? This is windy, right? You can click and point. It'll give you specifics, wind direction, speed, rain accumulation, wave heights, everything. We're going to go over it real quick, right? So this is right now. So let's jump to tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're looking at 12-knot winds from the southeast. So the wind's blowing, right? But the ocean's still fairly, you know, decent out there. And again, remember, just because you've got these forecast models, you also have other tools. If you're new to the fishing game and trying to figure out if it's good to go, you've got inlet cams, beach cams. There's all sorts of stuff. There's fishing reports everywhere, like this one. You know, you can take the best of both worlds and give it a whirl and make sure that you're good to go. We know Sean goes out when there's hurricanes coming. So, all right, 11 knots in the southeastern Tri-County area. Up north, it looks like it heads more from the south. If you're down in the lower keys, it's going to be a little bit more kicked up. But we've got it from the southeast, which means it's going to push all the Saharan dust, right? Number one, and it's going to keep pushing. It's going to probably break up some of those big matted up weed lines we were able to actually see this past weekend. All right, tomorrow afternoon, we got some speedy stuff way out there, huh? 23. But if we go back to our Tri-County area, we're looking 13 knots, right? So it picks up a little bit as the day wanes on, but not much, right? Not much. It stays about the same. Low double digits is what I like to call it. And the same for the day after. Same wind direction, not much. See, Biscayne Bay is a little bit less, but not that. Once you get up to Vero, we're looking at 5 knots. So further up north in the morning, they're going to have a little bit of calm spot, right? Over on our west coast, Tampa, all them Skybridge folks, ripping them huge kings right now. They got it easy right there. All right, let's focus back down here, right where we're all from. Friday. This is Friday afternoon. 9 knots straight from the east. So it kind of looks like it'll stay consistent all day. Not much changing. Into Saturday. 8 looks a little bit less. 8 from the southeast, which is good, right? So we got a little bit of a change. It looks like it's starting to slow down just a hair. Now, I believe our rain chances are going to increase come the weekend, but look, it's not going to be nothing because of the Saharan dust. If anything, it's going to be like a 5-minute one and done thing. So nothing big. No downpours where it's coming down for like an hour. All right, so that is Saturday, right? South, 8 knots all day long. Come down 1 mile an hour. Sunday, they're saying even less, right? Which is looking good, man. Hey, Sunday might be the day, right, to get out there if you're, looking to have some fun. Looking like the wind speed, according to Windy, is going to be the Sunday is going to be the funnest day. And then I believe as we head into Monday, it's going to start really taming down. When you look at the predictions and all the wave heights and all that stuff. So we're looking at a nice start to next week. And there we go. All right. So let's go back now and we shall look at our wave heights. Okay, right? So right now they're saying 3 foot, 2 foot, 4 seconds from the southeast, which is if we're blowing in the low 10s consistently, that's about right. You're going to get out there and you're going to get wet if you got low gunnels or a sea-doo. You got higher gunnels, you'll be all right in a place to hide. 4 foot down in the Keys. Little testy down there. All right, now we'll see tomorrow afternoon. It's 2 foot. They say it wants to die down just a hair. Moving to Friday, 2 foot. Okay, so as we saw the wind speed come down a little bit. So we're also seeing our wave heights come down. Now the period's hanging out at 4 seconds, right? Which means it's going to be a little bumpy out there, but not unbearably ridiculous to where you're like, let's just not do it. Okay. Except the further south you head, they want to, the wave height seems to increase and you get a little edge of your period increasing, but that's negligible. All right. Friday afternoon. So it's about the same. So we're looking at the same thing, right? Wind slowed down. Thursday going into Friday, wave heights dropped a little bit. Let's look at what happened on Saturday and see where we're going with there, right? Oh, they want to stay the same, about the same thing on a Saturday, which is good. Key Largo, 3 foot, further south down you go. They're saying 3 foot, 4 foot. All right, not bad, right? So Saturday afternoon, looks like we got a little bit lighter of a shade. So if you look down here on our color-coded chart, this is how I could tell that they said, okay, cool. So Saturday afternoon, the slammers being caught in Key West. Hope they work. That would be nice. They're on. This is summertime, dude. They're heading north. So it should be. In the winter they head south. So if you hear, if you see them catching them, I say August and September. If you see them catching big ones in the Carolinas, they'll be here by October because that's when they head south on the inside of the stream to go and make baby dolphin. Yes, but that'll be great, man. I mean, yeah, by the weekend from Key West, yeah, man, Dolphin make it here. Yeah, from there, no time, no problem. Definitely. That'll literally take them a couple of days to swim from there to here, if even one day. Yes, so that's where we're at, right? Saturday, Sunday, 1 foot, right? So they're saying 1 foot, man. We're looking beautiful from Saturday into Sunday. All up and down the coast. Vero, they're saying that it picks up a little bit. And so if you get a little bit out of the Tri-County area, it might be a little. But we got looks like the Bahamas is taking some of that heat from the ocean off of us. All right, Sunday afternoon looks the same. 1 foot, 1 foot, 5 seconds. So yeah, Sunday's looking like the best of all the days. And then the Monday, you still got 1 foot, right? But our period's closing in, so might not be like that glassy ocean. All right. So there we go. Monday afternoon, 1 foot at 4 seconds. So Sunday looking good. Saturday, still a little bumpy, but nothing bad, right? Definitely doable. Sunday looking better of the 2 days, and then heading into Monday. If you got that day available, hey. There you go. All right. So now we'll head back to tomorrow, and we're going to look at rain. Okay, right? We got lots of Saharan dust. So right now, we're, like I said, nothing much. You won't even really see moisture in the sky. There you go. A little bit. Friday morning, a little moisture, but nothing much. Storms in the afternoon. There we go. So there's your Saharan dust thing. But like I said, we'll see. Saturday. That's more like it. Saturday afternoon, they're saying storms will build up in the afternoon again, which is possible. The over the land storms building up even when there is the Saharan dust haze in the sky. That's not a problem. You got the Everglades, which is a ton of shallow, warm water, and that's what forms and helps those thunderstorms explode like you see in the afternoon. Hopefully that dust does. It does, yeah. That's why it felt like it was 110 degrees today. Yeah. Definitely does make it feel hotter. What makes it feel hotter and worse actually is when the wind blows from the west on days like today. All right, Sunday, dry, which is good. I like that in the morning. And build up over a little bit north of the lake. Looks like we're going to stay dry on Sunday, dry and hot. And Monday, nothing. Monday afternoon, weird that the north is getting that buildup of storm activity in the afternoon. Hey, we'll take it. All right, so that is that one. All right, now let's go on ahead. We'll check in with WINDFINDER, which is basically it's just another forecasting tool. Oh, it's all like numbers and arrows and stuff. Less art and more logic, I guess. I'm not sure. All right, so tomorrow, right? Winds from southeast, low double digits. Same as what they said, bright and sunny. Seas 2 to 3 foot, 2 to 3, right, from the southeast. So they jive with what our previous one said. And we got a 5 to 6 second period. Not bad. Friday into Saturday. So here's where we're starting to see some discrepancy. And I checked this out earlier, and you're going to have to watch what happens. I'm tending to think the lighter side simply because of the time of year we're in. So Friday, they're saying, our wind speeds are going to stay consistent into the mid 10 to 20 range, right? And Saturday, Sunday, it'll lessen down, right? But they're saying, dry skies, and they're saying rain chances pretty much, very good during the day on Saturday. Cloudy, hazy during Sunday, and Monday, bright and sunny. Now, Monday, they're saying, hey, it looks like yes, but this right here, sticking to 3 foot to 2 foot, all that into Sunday. And the previous forecast tended to show it a little bit less. So, like I said, we'll have to really see what the reality of it is. I think this particular one seems to be a tad bit embellished, a little bit more scarier than what it would be. Even though none of this is scary, if you catch my drift. Okay, so yeah, that's WINDFINDER. Now let's talk about the moon phase. Right, see where we're at with our moon. And if you like to fish by the moon, definitely. That full moon is very good for this mangrove spawn, by the way. Okay, so right now we are on a waning phase. Okay, waning means you're heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means you're heading towards the full moon. So we passed the full moon. Now we're heading towards the dark side of the moon. We're at 41%, right? So remember, I tend to think pelagics feed a little better when there's less moon. There's less light at night, so they're not. It's trickier. It's not impossible. It's more energy expenditure to go find food at night when the sky is not illuminated, showing them the easy pickings. That's just my theory behind it, and I'm more than likely. That's just what I believe. Okay, 41% right now. Tomorrow, Thursday, which 30%, Friday 20%, Saturday 11%, and Sunday 4% heading into Monday. So we'll have our new moon Monday, between Monday and Tuesday. And then it'll take, a couple of weeks. We'll be back to that full moon. So remember, folks, when it's this stuff, if you're into fishing for live bait, when you got like no moon out, go out there and go get gogs. That's the time to do it. Gogs, red fins at night. You just ride around. You can chum them up actually. But you more than likely, if you're into it, you will always see a group of boats out there fishing for them. Okay, so that's our moon phase. Now let's look at our tide charts and let everyone get on with life. So here we go. Tide charts. Why do we check the tide charts? We check the tide charts because we are trying to take advantage of the tidal flow out of inlets. Okay. If you are fishing in an inlet, you need the outgoing tide. The outgoing tide pushes out all crazy sorts of food source for little bait fish to come in and eat, and then the big fish come in and eat them. So if you're fishing an incoming tide, it's not going to work. It has to be outgoing or you're catching nothing. It's ineffective. Now, not only does it need to be outgoing, it also needs to be at like a good time of day, like in the morning. Like you see here, there's an outgoing tide in the morning's right, the sunrise is right in the middle of it. The same thing in the afternoon. We like to do our afternoon fishing as the sun's going down and stuff. You got to have the tidal flow. So if you're a land-based guy and you're fishing a jetty, this is got to be one of your go-to tools is a tide chart, right? Now the boaters, you always got a little bit more leeway when it comes to fishing that tidal flow. You can go and do other things, right? But it's the same thing. If you're out front jigging, drifting for mutton, chumming for yellowtails, trolling for, kings and wahoo, whatever it may be, if you're not working the proper tidal flow phase, you're selling yourself short of the opportunity to go do something else. So right now, tomorrow morning is perfect. You're in the middle of the outgoing tide in the morning, and you got a good bit of it while the sun's still up until it falls. Okay. Same thing throughout the weekend. Sunday, you're at the slack tide as the sun comes up. So it's going to start rolling. So it'll take a minute to probably, wake everybody up in the morning on Sunday. Now, the good thing is our summer solstice is ending and our 12-hour cycle of light is starting to slowly go back to normal. All right, so that's our tide phases. You got them in your favor this week. Use it and abuse it like, it was meant to be. All right, folks, before we get out of here, I just want to invite everyone, if you are on Facebook, search out the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Looks like this. I am the administrator. It is a private group. You have to answer a couple of questions to join. That way we know you're not a bot and you're not stealing information, and Lord knows what else bots do inside of groups. So it's very simple. What's your favorite fish, and are you going to follow the rules? The rules are simple. No screwing around. Okay, very good. South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report, right? Let me go a little bit forward with this, right? Say, hey, every Monday we put out a brag board post, right? If you post on this report, you guaranteed to get showcased during the live show that we have every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Now, you also run the risk of becoming the poster child and earning a spot on the thumbnail on the YouTube channel, right? Very good. Show off your catch to the whole world. So you can't go wrong by joining the group and, having some fun with it, right? Sharing in the good times. And if you just join and you just want to see what everybody else has got going on in their lives, hey, good for you. More power to you. That's what it is. South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. This is the place, the channel with all the contributions from everyone like Pedro, Captain Jim, Todd Prince, everyone, Sean, everyone that contributes. They help direct the flow of what is going on with South Florida angling. And, we're here to help. Come join the fun, folks. All right. That's about it. We're going to shut it down for tonight. Hope everyone gets out there sometime this weekend, within the next week, and able to get on some fish, make it happen, and, show off your catches. All right, folks. Till next time, South Florida Saltwater Fishing. Going wherever the cool wind takes us.